All right. Most shows right now are talking about the debate, and I'm not gonna. There's a show called POS. There's too many POSs in that debate. I'm embarrassed. I'm sorry to say that, but I'm embarrassed that this is our country right now, that people can watch it. My daughter, who never watched anything political, watched it and said, Dad, these are going to be some of the best memes ever. That should not be our country. That's embarrassing. The two of them, I get it. That's what Twitter and social media is. But we should not look at that and be laughing. No one should think anyone won. No one should think there's good sides there. That's sad. And it should really tell us that we need to change what we're doing or we're going to become the countries we've always hated. So everyone's the POS. Take it, Frank.
Welcome to the Pat Oates Show. And we want to welcome a big welcome to our new co-host of POS, Bobby Tamburro.
We're clapping. We're clapping. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Are we welcoming the welcome? We want to welcome the welcoming.
Is that what I said?
Oh, yeah. You welcome the welcome, which I think is kind of.
I must have meant, if I said it, I meant it.
Okay, but that kind of.
It was sincere.
If I'm going to welcome someone,
right,
I welcome them. If you just welcome the welcome, it's not sincere.
Well,
you're not welcoming the person. You're welcoming the greeting and salutation, which is yours. So you basically welcomed your own braggadocious intro, and that was it.
I think you stole my line. You say, welcome, Bobby, and I say, I welcome your welcoming.
Yes. Do you come? I welcome.
Well, no, I just welcome. I welcome, and then I read your intro. Okay, I welcome, and then I said, we welcome the new co-host. Okay, so there was a double welcome in there.
The intro you had to read was one line. And I like how you had to ad-lib. You're like, first of all, I did my own thing. Like you're
9 words.
Like you're Don Pardo. Like, what are you?
9 words.
I have my own thing I do. Come on down to Bobby Tamburro. All right, so you're already starting off to be the piece of shit, Frank. But this is the new dynamic. For people that have watched the show before and seen it, it will be the same thing. We pick up stories. I just like when Bobby was on. I enjoy Bobby's company and his wit and his humor, and I think he'd be a good fit for this. And I also think it's better when it's 3 of us who can make the show run, and then one guest once in a while comes on and goes, "I don't get it. Do I win something?" Or they're like, "I don't. My Wi-Fi doesn't work, so I'm in front of a Starbucks." Like, we know. We know. Yeah, have your manager contact me, asshole. Anyway, now we'll start. Yeah. Every week, it's like, hey, Pat, how about you just let things go? I try, but then I can't. All right. British Wildlife Park removes 5 cursing parrots from public view. The quote was said, if they teach the other birds bad language and I end up with 250 swearing birds, I don't know what we'll do, said the park's CEO. A British wildlife park has removed the African gray parrots from public view because of the foul language. There are birds there that someone taught them swears, and they won't stop cursing. And they removed them all, not just those birds, all the birds, because they're afraid that they're going to be a bad influence and teach the other birds bad words. Lincolnshire Wild Park adopted the parrots about 6 weeks ago and put them in quarantine together, according to Lincolnshire. Well, I'm not going to get into the part where they're in quarantine. During the time together, bird COVID, I have not heard about bird COVID. There's bird flu. I have not heard of bird COVID. Do they have masks over their stupid little beaks? Are they putting that on? They're washing their feathers. During their time together, the birds shared the ability to curse up a storm, something they engaged in quite often, according to Steve Nichols, the park's CEO. I get called a fat T blank blank T every time I walk past.
What?
Oh, twat. Thank you. But see, Bobby's already paying off.
It's just that none of us consider twat a swear word.
No, not at all. Especially if it's from England. I didn't think it was at all. But I like that it's called the fat twat, but you also are tremendous at curse word Wheel of Fortune. I'll take a W and I'll solve the puzzle.
Absolutely. You are a fat twat.
He gets called a fat twat every time he walks by, the CEO of the place. Nichols said potty-mouthed parrots aren't uncommon in his line of work. For the past 25 years, we have always taken in parrots that have sometimes had a bit of blue language, and we have really gotten used to that, he told Lincolnshire Live. Every now and then, you'll get one that swears, and it's always funny. We always find it comical when they do swear at you. So they seem cool for a little bit. But just by coincidence, we took in 5 the same week, and because they were all quarantined together, it meant that one was just full of swearing birds. The more they swear, the more you usually laugh when that triggers them to swear again. So they're influenced.
They're like comics.
Yeah, they are. They're like comedians. You're right. They tell a comedian's like, look, that guy's a fat bitch. And everybody laughs. And he goes, yeah, you fat bitch. Keep being a fat bitch. And then the guy's like, I'm just a man who paid for a ticket. Yeah, a fat bitch paid for a ticket. And the crowd stops laughing. And you realize you destroyed the joke. Like those shit birds. Nichols said the cursing birds sounded like an old working men's club scenario where they're all just swearing and laughing. Ugh, I like how they had to turn into that. It's a men's club, but they all talk about pussy. Like, Frank, you're old and you belong to a club. Do men sit there and just talk shit?
Yeah, well, we don't talk this shit, but we do talk shit.
Like,
I have to.
You talk about tits and do you say twat?
Yeah, it's very political now, and I belong to a club that's 98% Trump. I'm the 2% that's a moderate.
By the way, we can say the name of the club. It's the Ku Klux Klan.
and the thing that's so upsetting is that they call me the fucking liberal. And I'm not a liberal. I'm a moderate. But there's no difference for them between a moderate and a liberal.
I'll tell you the difference.
But I want to get off this thing about the gray African parrot.
We will in a second. Don't worry. We'll get there. We'll get to how you look like a gray African parrot as well. We'll get there.
No, I have a kinship to them.
We'll get to that in a second.
When I had encephalitis 15 years ago, my IQ dropped or rose to the same thing as an African gray parrot.
Dropped or rose, Frank? That's a big, no, that's key. Did it drop to it or did it rise to it?
We don't know. But we zeroed in as the same IQ as an African gray parrot. And so I did a lot of research on them. I did go to zoos to check them out and see what they were like and see if I was anything like them. And I wasn't. I mean, I was totally upset about it, but that's okay.
I think you're kind of like them. Bobby, do you think, obviously there was precedent set. It's a wildlife place. No one likes going to that shit anyway unless you're on a field trip, whatever, or you're high. And if you are high and you go, wouldn't you like it more if birds were swearing?
The greatest thing in the world. Yes,
hilarious.
Absolutely. The only piece of shit in this story is the person who prevents it from happening. If I was like, hey, Pat, we're going to a bird's place, and you were like, fuck, this is going to suck, and we walked in, and somebody was like, hey, Frank, you retard, you'd be like, that's the greatest bird place ever.
Greatest bird place ever. It would be amazing. And I would go to the point where I would go and then find out every day when the CEO walks by the birds so I could hear the birds call him a fat twat. Every day. Like, I would set my watch to fat twat time. And obviously, whoever did it, and the guy even said, we always took them in, which means someone complained. I'm going to go on a limb and say white woman over the age of 40 complained and said that's improper, like she hangs out with birds. Lady, or anyone who did that, know your fucking role and shut your fucking mouth. The birds can talk. Are we going to be that crazy as people that we're going to not just ignore the fact that fucking birds can talk and tell jokes and tell dirty jokes? That's the best evolution I've ever heard of in my life. More than us coming from amoebas. A bird knows that someone's a fat twat. Now, I haven't seen a picture of this guy, but if he's thin, then I'll be like, fuck you, birds. But if he actually is fat and he's the CEO of a wildlife place, which kind of makes you a twat, the bird is dead fucking on. And think about it. A bird's intelligence isn't that much. Frank had to get a disease to get as smart as them.
Whoa.
Hey, Frank, how about you? Next time when I'm doing the joke, wait till I'm done when you yell, whoa, because on Zoom, no one hears my joke now, and you just scream, whoa. But, you said that. You guys. So, Bobby, you would not go to a normal bird wildlife place?
No.
But now I want to go to this place.
Now I want to see these birds, I will never tell a joke that would be as funny as just somebody being an innocent bystander to a fat guy walking by and a parrot calling him a fat twat.
Yeah.
It's not the best joke you're gonna hear, but it's the best joke you're gonna hear a parrot tell. That's for damn sure.
It's not even about certain comics. You'll be like, well, the joke's not that funny. It's like it's the timing and it's the delivery.
Right.
The bird saying it is the greatest, especially if you don't expect it. Like, think about it. How many times do you think that a woman had her children with her? There's like 3 of them. They're running around. She's not paying attention to her surroundings. And then someone says, "You fat bitch." And she's hit those kids thinking it's them. Definitely, because she wouldn't think the bird called her a fat bitch. She would think the kids did. Or someone else. A kid got in trouble many times because of these birds and their shenanigans. And to me, that's beautiful.
If you see that all go down and she starts hitting her kids, do you intervene or do you just let it happen because it's even funnier?
I actually take the bird and I kneel on its neck.
You take the knee.
Yeah, I take the knee, and then we have an R.I.P.
The birds, yeah.
Bird Floyd. Bird Floyd is done. If they teach the other birds bad language, and I end up with 250 swearing birds, I don't know what we'll do. He told BBC. So that's why they had to remove them. The fear was, which he can say in the article, he's saying that the reason is because he's afraid they will all learn it. That's bullshit. He literally said earlier in the article, he loved it. He thought it was great. It was fun. I think he's smart and knows it draws people in. I think you take that and you try to teach all the animals how to swear. Who wants to go to a zoo? Nobody. In a time of quarantine. But by the way, I don't understand science, but I don't know why birds were quarantined together.
Right.
I don't understand.
Is that an excuse to get them away from the public?
No, Frank, that was the opposite. The reason why they had one bird that was swearing. They quarantined them, and because they were all stuck together, all the other birds learned from this bird, and now they all know how to call that one guy a fat twat. So we're all, I'm guessing this is on the board 100%. We're all, the piece of shit is anyone who stopped these birds from viewing this beautiful swearing all over England. Which, by the way, once it's England, it even makes it more fun.
Yeah.
Because do you think the bird had an English accent?
Definitely.
What?
You fat twat. Governor, you fat twat. In it, a fat twat, governor. In it. That's more fun. Like, because English people, you can't understand them anyway, so maybe they're not even saying that.
Yeah, who knows?
And listen, twat's the least. You know they said cunt.
I don't know what I'm going to do if I have 250 parrots who cuss at people. I don't know. Just be the most successful entertainer of all time.
I don't know. Be the coolest uncle in the history of the world. Like, if you got nieces and nephews, like, come here. It's like, oh, man. First of all, how is this not, in this day and age where we record everything stupid, how do we not already have video of these birds saying this? How is there not so many video of people just right away putting their phone up and just watching these birds do that? Every day calling this man a fat twat. That's why I also think we should bring back fat shaming. I'm sure this guy started losing weight.
Yeah.
If a bird calls you fat, you start running.
Yeah.
Birds know. They got bird's eye view of your fat fucking ass. They understand it. So, yeah. Frank, I'm guessing you're not. I know that you have a problem with birds because they're smarter than you, but.
Right. Yeah. But I think, number one, that they should be allowed to say whatever they want to say in front of whoever they want to say.
Wait, does the First Amendment apply to birds?
Sure it
Probably
does.
not because it's England.
And they're African.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
They're African.
Yeah, that was for white people.
And there's something going on there. I don't know if you want to delve into it, but there's definitely a problem there.
Frank, that's what we do here. We delve.
What would be the funniest thing a parrot could spout out? Because, like, cursing's definitely up there, but I feel like there's got to be some other good things.
Don't touch me there.
Yeah. Or just, like, communist lines, like, the last capitalist will hang is the one who sold us the rope. And you're like, wait a second, what was that?
See, that would be fun, but you know what somebody would do? Somebody who's not funny would teach them all to say Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. And you're just like, all right, we know. We got it. You got it. Like, I guess it would be like, what would be something? Like if the bird started telling you who killed JFK.
Yeah.
Rah,
Or the
rah. It wasn't a grassy knoll. 9/11 was an inside job. Rah. Like that would be fun.
a bird that tries to get you to join its pyramid scheme. Brat, have you ever sold Cutco? Can your scissors cut a penny?
Birdie Madoff. Birdie Madoff would be fantastic. Got a little suit on. He's just telling people, "Rah, invest your money. Robert De Niro's going to play me in a movie, right? Oh, God. Okay. We're moving from that one. Here we are. Next one here. Nope, that is British wildlife still. That is not it. See, when I was on compound that one time, I had notes. I was prepared. There was a teleprompter. But when they said no to me, I had to read off my phone. Germany's ex-royals want their riches back, but past ties to Hitler stand in the way. George Frederick, Prince of Prussia, is locked in a legal battle for more than 10,000 family artifacts seized or lost after World War II. The case rests on one question. Did his ancestors help the Nazis? I'm listening. Perched on a steep hilltop in the southern Germany, the striking turrets of, Hohenzollern Castle, we're going to call it Ho Castle for now on, because I can't say that. Ho Castle rise in contrast to the rolling countryside that surrounds them. The fortress is the ancestral seat of Germany's last imperial family. If the country still had a monarchy today, the castle's owners would be its royal family, led by George Friedrich, whose ceremonial tie is also his legal surname, Prince of Prussia. All right, before we go any further, I don't know anything about Prussia. I always thought people were saying Russia when I was a kid. Is Prussia near Russia?
It's in Europe.
I don't know. All I know, King of Prussia's in Pennsylvania, and there's a big mall there. That's all that I know.
Bobby, you are
I got a hand job in that parking lot.
I was going to say, Bobby is
that
our
mall.
resident Pennsylvanian. It's a
King
good
of
mall for a
Prussia's-
hand job?
I mean, no, it's a terrible mall. It's super busy. It's like I live in like the sticks, as you know. We've talked about Amish
Yes.
baseball and whatnot. But it's like where all the girls go for their prom dresses. Like, oh, let's go to King of Prussia. We can pick out our dresses because it's like the only nice mall within 3 hours of us.
Those girls had Nazi dresses on.
Yep, they didn't even know.
Oh, that's fun. Inside, the would-be Kaiser Prince George cranes his neck towards an ornate family tree painted in the wall behind him. He proudly describes his lineage, which traces back through centuries and kings and queens who ruled over Prussia, a once vast area that included parts of modern-day Germany, Poland, Lithuania, Russia, and Denmark. So it's not around, but it covered a lot of fucking land.
Right.
Through German monarchs like his great-great-grandfather, the Kaiser, who led the country into World War I. But along the castle and the wealth, Prince George has inherited a very public and at times ugly legal battle with authorities to reclaim a family fortune confiscated after the fall of the Nazis. According to Prince George, the vast collector of more than 10,000 items, including everything from priceless artworks to the opulent heirlooms of Germany's most powerful and important family. I could read on, but I'm all ready to talk about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Why does it matter if they were Nazis? It's his shit. Okay? O.J. Simpson fell into the same thing. Remember when O.J. kind of, sort of didn't kill his wife?
Yeah.
Even though, he did. But he didn't.
He
And-
didn't kill her, but he was fiscally responsible for her death.
Yes. But remember, the one thing O.J. got in trouble for was trying to get his own shit. And yes, he broke into a place. He stole his things, souvenirs. And I've always thought that was the fucked up thing. They were trying to catch him because it's his shit. We know it's his shit. Doesn't matter if someone else had it afterwards. He was getting his shit back. This is King George's shit. Okay? His family earned it the old-fashioned way, killing the Jews. If you kill the Jews, you should be allowed to keep what you get. Jews are wily, they are miserly, and they're sneaky. And it's hard to catch them and even harder to kill them. You've got to invent something. I don't know, like a Holocaust to kill them off. That's how hard it is to kill the Jews. So if you do it, if you're playing this video game of Nazi Metroid and you have to get through and you have to kill the final Jew bosses and all that, you should be allowed to keep the riches is all I'm saying.
It's a fair point.
Well, who has all this merchandise, all these antiques? The government?
The government is holding on
The
to
government has it. Okay. All right. So the government's case is that they helped the Nazis in procuring Jews and helping them out in any area that they can. I think you have to go back into history, and you could look in German SS wealthy people that had that collected a lot of artwork from the Jewish people that were exterminated, and it had to go back to their heirs. So what I'm saying is,
well, I guess what I'm seeing right here while you're saying that, there is a German law that we don't really know about. Standing between Prince George's family and a cachet of untold monetary and cultural value is a broadly worded German law that disqualifies those who helped the Nazis into power from restitution or compensation for lost property. So therefore, if you help the Nazis, you're not allowed to have the riches, which I think is being a spoiled brat. Yeah. I really do. I think that's baby talk. Like, oh, you helped the winning. Don't be a sore loser, okay? I mean, did the Nazis really win? No. Okay, we're told they lost. Are they still around? Yeah. So they're doing okay. But why can't they have the money? Listen, if he was going to take all the money and start Hitler too, then okay, then maybe you say we shouldn't give him the money. But if he just wants to live like Gargamel in a castle, then let him do it. Who cares?
Well, I think it's up for negotiations where they could take part of the money and use it for some charity causes.
And the rest that they could have.
What?
If you're a charity, you don't want Nazi money.
That's an interesting one.
Why? Why wouldn't you want Nazi money?
Because you don't want dirty money. That's why that series, like Susan B. Komen doesn't let the mafia give her money. They don't want it. You can trace it back, then you say you're part of it. If you're a charity and then you take Nazi money, they can say, well, you're part of it. You're supporting the Nazis.
But you're doing something good with it.
Frank, that's not public perception. The whole reason this is happening is because the public people think if they didn't care about public perception, they wouldn't care who got that guy who had his money. They're trying to look good. They're like, look at us. We're not saying Nazis are fun anymore. Nazis are fun. They're a good time. They have outfits. They have little moves. They have a weird vision of the world, but they shouldn't take away all their stuff.
I was against you initially. I thought at some point you need to know when to take your L, right? Like, you know what? You can just have it, and we're just going to say I wasn't associated with the Nazis. I'm not going to fight you on this one. But now it sounds like he has to prove he wasn't associated with the Nazis, right?
Right.
Like, that's how he gets his money. So I would be all for that fight. I'd be like, I don't care. Spend whatever money you have to do to prove we weren't part of this and get our money back, right? Like, you could have a legal document that was like, nah, these people never helped the Nazis. That's a big thing.
Well, you're talking about 80 years ago. I mean,
isn't that crazy that it wasn't that long ago?
No.
Like, Frank, you were just born when the Nazis were just done.
And we've given so many other people a pass. Like, don't want to be this guy, but we got to the moon because of a lot of Nazis.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
that's right.
And
Ron was a German SS scientist.
Yeah, we don't throw out all of the medical information we learned from those camps. It was a huge ethical debate, but we ended up saying it was important to honor those people through using what we learned from their deaths. So, like, why do those people get a pass? But Nietzsche, we even give Nietzsche a pass, but we don't give this guy a pass. Come on, just give him his money back.
Yeah, he makes sense. He makes sense.
I think he does too. I've watched sci-fi movies. I've read comic books. We don't get cool inventions without evil scientists. And who helps out evil scientists? The Nazis. Yes, they do. And how can they do it? Because they have funding. They have a lot of funding. Now, here's the thing. I would give this guy, in being all serious, I know I've made a lot of jokes. Sorry, Jews, by the way, for everything I've said so far. You're nice people. Well, not all of you, some, but that's all people. In all seriousness, give him all the shit. You want to know why? What pawn shop's going to take that stuff?
Right.
It's not like you're giving him money. He's got a big picture of like a Kaiser, or something, and he's got like
What's worse,
golden swastikas. Like, who's taking that in?
him getting his shit back or the German government profiting off of it for?
Yeah, but does it look like they're spending it? They're just trying to do like, we've got it, you can't have it type shit.
Yeah, but give it a decade, they'll open up a fucking museum, and then all of a sudden there's the, come see the Duchess, the finest riches of all of Germany, if it's as good as they say it is.
And this article then breaks down like everything that happened in Germany, and then like, I don't know,
I'm just saying, what if we
I'm just
go
trying to
and
see.
we take that stuff and then we
What?
start buying merch?
Give me like one. Yeah. First of all, let's have that merch. You know, it's like POS, and on the back it's like buy your golden swastikas at, and then put a website. All the money goes to, we name charities. Make-A-Wish.
Yeah.
Well, how about if he took part of the money and he sunk it into rehab in the African parrots?
Is that a callback to earlier?
Yeah, I guess so.
I guess, but to answer Bobby's earlier question from the first story, I guess what the parrot could say is that Hitler was right. Hitler was right.
Yeah, he was never in Africa.
Final solution's the only solution. That would work out good. That would be a perfect bird.
Yeah.
That's the bird you want.
Well, that's a form of rehab.
It would work out. Okay, okay, if someone said to you, each one of you, hey, I've got $1 million that I can make sure is untraceable, that I can get into your bank account, I can make it look like you worked it, you earned it, whatever it is, but it comes from Nazi money. Like, literally, it comes from blood money. The money that this comes from was actually the paychecks of the scientists who tortured Jewish people and burnt them. How quickly would you put that in your bank account?
In a minute.
I don't think I'd care. It's not like they just did it.
First of all,
if you told me it was right now African blood diamond money and some guy just died in a mine, I might go, come on, man, he's freshly dead. But Jews I didn't know, Jews that were 8 when Frank was born, I'm fine with.
Yeah, I mean, I have no qualm in taking the money, because if I didn't take it, who was going to get it?
Me.
Number one, it's there. You take it.
Well, we're going to find out. It looks like Bobby is going to earn his keep on this show and actually go against the grain. What do you say, Bobby?
Yeah,
You got a conscience?
I don't know, man. Something about the Nazi money getting haunted, like having just a bunch of Jew ghosts come and be like, "Oh, you know how you got that money?
Yeah, but,
Enjoy that donut. I got torn apart by dogs."
And not saying I know everything about you or how you spend your money, Bobby. But what would be funny is if you use a lot of that money for hallucinogenics. And then you started tripping balls. And Hitler's showing up in the room going, "You used my money." That's
Guilty
my
every
money.
time, dude. Oh, my God.
And after a while, you're just like loving it. And you cut your mustache like him. You're like, yeah, we're doing it now. This is what we do. Yeah, I wouldn't care because I just want the money. It's like, but I think this guy should be allowed, if it's his family shit, he should be allowed to have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you regulate what he does with it.
Right.
You can do that. You can keep an eye on him. You can have it. And Frank, like you said, but seriously, suggest to him. I think it would be great if you maybe help build a statue that was about a Jew or something. Like a nice Anne Frank fucking house or something. I don't know. Something fun. Maybe a bagel shop. Something that you put the money in and let him have some too. Or put something Jewish at his big castle. Like a Knish stand or something. Is that Jewish,
Just
Knish?
Hand engrave a Star of
Yes.
David on each one of them.
Yeah. The Star of David. It's a new reality show. The Star of David is born. And you go on and you dance around. Star of David search with Ed McMahon. Ed McMahonstein. And it's just the Jewish Ed McMahon. So, yeah. So, I think the piece of shit is the government for even saying anything. I get it. Because you want to look good. But you don't really care. You're also you're Germany. You're Germany. You allowed it to happen. Why did you step in Germany when Hitler did all his shit? He wasn't always in charge. So you can't just sit here and just denounce like what people are doing now with our society. People want to just pretend like slavery didn't happen. They want to knock down statues and say things didn't happen. Civil wars didn't happen. Just not let it happen. Let's just say it's not there. You learn from your fucking mistakes. Let that guy have the money. And when people go, why does this man, this Kaiser, have all these riches? And he's like, well, there was a thing called the Nazis. Were they good? Were they bad? And you teach them stories from that. You know what I mean? Like, that's what you do. Maybe he turns his place into a museum. People come in and learn the terrible things that happen by seeing all these artifacts in this motherfucker's home. Why not do that? You don't knock it down. If that was America, they did knock down the statue of Hitler and Stevie Ray Vaughan and then yell about racism.
I'm gonna say the piece of shit's the person who wrote the article, because
it was CNN.
So yeah, definitely. Then let me double down. But no, like the government's doing their job. Like you said, why didn't they do something last time? They're like, hey, last time we kind of fucked up. We're just gonna be over precautious here. The guy's just trying to get his shit back, and CNN's like, hey, everybody, there's a Nazi trying to get his stuff back. We know you like Nazis. Come take a look.
Everybody, Nazis back. Nazis backing down. Nazis backing down. The Nazis back. The Nazis back. That's the only version of that song I like. I hate the boys, but I don't mind the Nazis.
I just imagine there's a boardroom meeting, right? And they're like, no, we can't call Republicans Nazis anymore, but we need more Nazi-driven facts. And there's like some young reporter in the back like, I have an idea. There's this guy in Germany. He's a Nazi. He's trying to get his stuff back. You're brilliant. Promote him.
Lead
this guy's thinking outside the box.
Is he a king? He's a prince. I don't know. We'll push it.
We'll spice it up.
What the fuck's Prussia? I don't know. Make it happen.
Thought people were mispronouncing Russia.
All right. Speaking of things that are stupid, Jennifer Anniston considered quitting acting in the last 2 years. That's a real article from a thing called E-Talk. With everything going on in the world right now, everything it's going, the quarantine, the politics, our country maybe going into like another civil war. Jennifer Aniston, what am I stuttering, John? Jennifer Aniston considered quitting acting in the last 2 years. During a podcast appearance, Jennifer Aniston revealed that after a particularly exhausting role, she considered walking away from acting for a career in interior design. That's the entire article.
Who cares?
Somebody does. Because it was the number 2 trending thing yesterday.
No, really?
The debate was happening, and then that article was number 2 after the debate. After the president and the former vice president made fun of each other's wives and now they can't finish in bed and all the other things you need to hear at a fucking political. Anyway, Jennifer Anniston was still number 2. Who is the piece of shit? Jennifer Aniston for announcing, I almost quit to do interior design. Like she just was going to do interior design. I don't know her history, but if we look it up, I'm guessing she doesn't have a degree in interior design. No. She just was going to do it because she's Jennifer Aniston and she can do what she wants. Is she the piece of shit? Is that E-Talk for putting that out there? I know in this day and age you need clicks, but what the fuck is that? Unless she's canceled, who gives a shit? It's a white woman saying she can do whatever she wants. That was 2 years ago, hun. No one cares about them anymore. Unless she has a dick hanging from her vagina, nobody cares about that anymore. Is that the piece of Is Twitter the piece of shit for fucking somehow pushing that enough, for letting that trend, hoping that other people would do it? Or, most importantly, are we all the pieces of shit? Somebody once thought Jennifer Aniston was hot. She wasn't even the hottest person on Friends. She was probably the 4th hottest because we all have to admit, Joey was a dreamboat. But she's not. Even the monkey. I would, if you had told me I had to fuck the monkey, and I wonder, was that the same monkey that was in 7 with Brad Pitt? Because Brad Pitt knew her then. It could be. Obviously, I think that she can't be the piece of shit because she's such a vapid moron that she doesn't know how to get her own way. She thinks the world still cares about her. It's almost sad. And the fact that she has to say that. The piece of shit is the PR people who said, we got to get this out there. The world needs this right now. With everything happening, with the quarantine, with people dying. people losing their grandparents, with the president, with a debate, election coming up so much that could destroy this country in the outcome. People need to know that Jennifer Aniston almost quit, but kept on keeping on. We need to know. Little kids, like a child who gets paralyzed and like, you'll never walk again. He goes, really? Because Jennifer Aniston wasn't going to act. And now she does. And if she can fucking do it, I can walk.
When did she start to act? I mean, has she started yet?
Well, Frank, you can make your jokes, but she's pretty fucking famous.
Well, yeah, acting has nothing to do with being famous.
She's an actress. That's where her paycheck comes from.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She makes money.
I remember the first movie she was in, Leprechaun 2. Yeah. She was, or maybe it was just the original. Actually, no, it was the original Leprechaun. She shows up when the truck shows up, and the name of the paint company was called Two Guys That Paint. That was the name of the paint company in Leprechaun. I never saw all of Leprechaun. I saw that, and then a young Jennifer Aniston came out, and I was like, I'm good. Even then, I didn't know what she could do. I never understood the appeal of that. I always thought if someone thought she was attractive, that they were pretending that they were straight and they were really gay. Bobby, who's the piece of shit in the Jennifer Aniston story?
Piece of shit. I'm going to go with America on this one. There's a presidential debate, and the best we could come up with were two people who weren't interesting enough to pull trending away from Jennifer Aniston. I'd like to point out, I think America decided she was done acting, a decade ago? Because what's the last movie she's been in? She doesn't really get to make that decision. I think it was made for her. But, yeah, give us something better so we're not talking about this shit. Give us something interesting. Nothing came out of the debate. We didn't learn anything. Nobody had a new plan. There was nothing trending on that end. So, yeah, of course some bullshit about Jennifer Aniston was.
What does she have on people? Because you would think that she's somebody you could cancel. You would think that that's the kind of bitch that did some shit, that yelled at people like Ellen did or something. She can't just be great. Men keep leaving her.
Maybe she just knows she isn't talented. So she just treats everybody with respect and shit. She's
not
like
those men.
Me walking around Compound Media just being nice because I'm like, I know I'm not supposed to be here.
Oh, like I did with Compound Media when I thought they were hiring me, and then like, oh, now I'm just going to talk shit. But anyway, no, but like she's never can keep a man around. She's never, I mean, besides Friends, she never had anything that was just hers again. Like she was in stuff, but like people don't want to keep working with her. There's got to be something cancelable, but even like this, you would think people would be going like, fuck you, bitch, really? But no one's mad about this. I saw it trending. I'm like, this has to be from an old thing. I don't know why it's there, but no, it was just from that day. That fucking day. Frank.
I think that you have to look at her people that planted the story. Somebody had to say it. It's the people. And the reason why
but that's their job, though. They're trying to make some Aniston bucks.
Yeah, but I think what they're trying to do is that we'll see. Eventually, she's coming out with a line of furniture or clothing or something
or
to
interior design stuff. She doesn't know what that is. She just goes, "Here's my line of interior design stuff."
I'm hoping it's a candle that smells like her pussy.
Oh. She should have like a series of little fans that you fan yourself with her face on it. It's Jennifer Aniston's, and she just uses Jennifer Aniston's, and she just cool off with Jennifer. And by the way, be Jen.
Yeah.
No one likes a Jennifer. Be Jen Aniston.
Yeah.
That people like you better when you're Jen. Bobby, do you have anything that you'd like to bring up that we can find pieces of shit in?
I do not this week. I do not. Unfortunately, I didn't bring anything to the table. I apologize.
No, it's perfect. Frank, who's the piece of shit in this story?
I would have to say a combination of her people and Jennifer Aniston.
Frank, we're on to the next story.
Oh.
Bobby did not have a story.
Oh.
Who's the piece of shit? Me for thinking that by springing that on Bobby last second. Bobby for not saying, maybe I'll try to make something up on the fly.
I don't give a shit because I'm trying to figure it out of a story to tell.
Well, you don't have one. Or the third one, is it you? Because I know that you would forget what the story was the second I asked you to look it up.
Okay, actually, I do. I have a personal one, Pat.
I knew you were going to do it.
I do.
All right.
Perfect.
Thank you for stalling.
Failed himself out.
So I ordered Chipotle for lunch today, right?
Yes.
My pickup time is noon. I know it's busy, So I walk in at a cool 12:10 because I figure, you know what? I'm going to give them a 10-minute buffer. I don't have a lot of time, so I'm in a hurry. And then I stand there for 15 minutes and watch. And, like, I get there, and they're like, what's your name, Bob? They're like, oh, it'll be ready in a second. All right. And I watch 7 people go through the line. One guy does a bulk order for the whole office, and then my food is made.
Yeah, it's not like they can't just scoop it.
Right, yeah. So
You're calling, so it's faster.
Am I the piece of shit for being angry? Because, like, I get it. They're working for $10 an hour. If I was in their shoes, I wouldn't give a shit either. Or are they the piece of shit for not having it ready? Or is COVID the piece of shit for screwing everything up to make that happen?
COVID's not a guy, so I can't blame COVID. I'm going to say
have a third
none
option.
of the 3 you offered. I'm going to say it's management for how they've treated that. Because you would think at the very beginning of COVID, phone calls were the most important because nobody was allowed to go in. It was all delivery, all stuff like that. They set it up right away. They set this because before that, I would have never thought in my life of calling Chipotle. Chipotle is basically fast food. I like it a lot, but you're going in, they're shoveling like Subway does. You're pointing out your things. You're walking out the door. The fact that you're calling that in makes it so much quicker because now that person doesn't have to wait for you to go, what's barbacoa?
Yeah.
No, what's barb? I'll take chicken. Do you want sour cream? Is it extra? It's not extra. Okay, then the green stuff. Well, that's extra. How much extra? It's like they don't have to deal with that now. You just call up and they make the thing. That would be the first thing I make. If I was a manager of this place, the phone call comes in. You treat the phone call like a person who's standing in front of you. The phone calls in. You get off the phone. You make the order. You put it off to the side. You make, if anything, I would make it so when you showed up at 12:10, your only complaint was, oh, the food's a little cold. And I would have said, exactly. If you showed up at 12, motherfucker, you'd have warm food. So next time, don't dilly-dally when you get on your way to Chipotle. That's their problem. You can't ask the people at the front line to do their thing because then people come in, assholes like me walk in and go, what the fuck? They're like, well, I got to make this phone order. Well, is that phone order guy here yet? Well, no. Well, then make my fucking thing. I'm right here, and I'm bitching to you. And then a guy comes in, I'm buying for the office because some of them secretaries won't blow me unless I give them a taco. And then he has to come in and do that shit. So, no, it's the management for not teaching these people to treat a phone call importantly, because for 2 months, that's the only thing that kept you motherfuckers in business. People who couldn't come up with your own idea that had to buy a franchise that basically gave people E. coli and everybody was mad at not eating before COVID. We've all forgotten they were killing us before the Chinese.
That's right.
Well, let's not let the Chinese off the hook that easily.
I will never let them off the hook. You fucking Chinese. You're on the hook. If I had a hook, I would have a Chinese lip in it, and I'd hang it from my wall. Frank?
You guys have spotter lanternflies up in Connecticut?
No, I don't know what those are.
Oh, they're like an invasive species that comes in and eats all the grapes. It kills grapes. It's destroying the wine industry in Pennsylvania. It also came from China. How many just plagues are we going to allow to come out of there before we go, you know what, time out, guys. Every 3 months you're killing us.
China makes everything.
Yeah,
even the diseases.
Yeah. I'm going to have to
hairless boy. Anyway, go ahead, Frank.
Yeah, my take on this, the piece of shit has to be Bobby for eating that shit. I mean, that's it. I mean, going into that place, you're a piece of shit for going in there.
But Frank, and Frank knows New York well too, and knows there's good places. But he's running around. I've seen the street or two where what's around him. He's probably eaten.
I mean, there's no corner deli or anything like that.
He's probably. I'm guessing he's eaten from there 87 times.
Yeah, it's that and Potbellies.
Really?
Right now, the local delis have all been closed. They're just starting to open up. It's like they are open from noon till about 3. So if I get in that window, I definitely do that. But if not, we got to go to these stupid chains.
Yeah, you can't open up a New York deli right now because all the tourists are like, I want pastrami from New York. And it would be crowded because they're all fucking morons. And they're like, I'm from Kentucky and I never had real Reuben before. So they want to come in and it gets too crowded. Chipotle is not going to ever be crowded because they funnel you through. But yeah, I am really shocked that you had to wait, A, and B, that they did the order in front of you when you got there. Because that's
like
the whole
7 of them, dude.
That defeats the entire purpose of calling up. I don't want to see. I didn't call up so I could watch the show. You didn't make a reservation. It's not Benihana. You don't want to fucking watch the guy prepare it and shoot water out of a Chinese guy's penis when you're done. You want to you want to walk in, grab your meal, and go.
And like the woman was like, sorry for the wait. And I was like, no worries, but just Like, why did I order online? I could have come in and it would have been just as fast. And she was like, what do you mean? I was like, well, like I could have stood in line and then gotten my 2. And she's like, oh, yeah. So hopefully they've learned, and I did a good thing and educated
They didn't
them.
learn shit.
No.
They're not thinking
They were
about this
talking
at
shit
all.
about me behind my back.
Oh, they want that. They said, that fucking arrogant prick. He thinks that we have to do what he wants? Yes, he's the customer, you dumb fuck. That being said, I now work in retail, and I don't believe the customer is ever right.
Yeah, the customer is always wrong.
I actually said to a woman the other day when she's like, well, she bumped into me. I said, excuse me. She goes, well, I'm the customer. And I go, you're our guest. And she's like, excuse me? I'm like, you're our guest. I understand that you're going to buy things, but this is the store that we're working on every day and putting here. We're allowing you to come in and look at things and possibly purchase them. You should be respect, but as the guest. Coming in thinking that we owe you shit, we don't owe you anything. And she's just like, all I wanted was some soda. I'm like, well, then go buy your cheap soda, you bitch, and go your day.
We're doing construction right now for fall, like to put jackets out and stuff. I'm up on a ladder wearing a completely different uniform because I'm doing construction, and a woman's like, can you help me? And I gave her like really short directions. She was like, that wasn't very helpful. And I was like, don't ask the person on a ladder next time.
Yeah.
Ask anybody in a uniform that looks like they want to help you.
I'm on a ladder. What are you doing? Yeah. I'm literally doing something where I can't help you. You're actually putting me in danger by distracting me in any way. And you. I've watched a couple wrestling events. I'm going to give you a flying elbow. I can give you a Macho Man elbow right now.
I'm going to make it look like an accident, but I promise it's not going to feel good.
Final story of the show. And this comes from me being at work. I shared this on Twitter yesterday. I'm not sure if you've seen it, but this actually really did happen. I was at work, minding my own business, and an older couple, I'd say Frank, probably about 10 years younger than you, were walking down, and there was a woman and a man, and the man's pushing the cart. The woman's like about 10 feet ahead of him, and as they're shopping, you can hear them mumbling back and forth to each other. The man does not look happy at all. The lady just keeps saying, like, barking orders at him and this and that, whatever. And at one point, she's just like, you're taking forever. You never do anything right. You never push the cart the way you're supposed to. Okay. I don't even know why I put up with you. And the guy says out loud, I want a divorce. She turns her head and just goes, shut up and keep pushing the cart, Ted. Who's the piece of shit? And before you both say me, fuck you. No. That's a share. When you hear that, I didn't intervene. I didn't say it. I didn't even laugh because I could listen. I was feeling some Ted right there. Ted might be my new spirit animal. Ted just wants out and has no way of getting. Ted can't even say to her, I want to legally get away from you, because she just knocks it down. Is Ted the piece of shit for not being able to get out of this? It's too hard, too late. Is it her for treating him like that? Is it the store? Maybe we should break in. If somebody walks in without a mask now, I'm supposed to politely say, hi, if you don't have a mask, we can provide one for you, but you cannot be in here without it. I should be also allowed to go, hi, you're treating your husband like a fat twat, and you shouldn't be allowed to do that at all. And you need to put on a mask, even though you have one on, another one called a muzzle to cover your mouth because you're not nice. Frank, who's the piece of shit in that story?
Well, I mean, it's simple. I mean, Ted. I mean, they're not on their honeymoon. They've been married a long time.
Maybe not. What if they just got married?
Well, he's a bigger piece of shit. He's a turd. I mean, for that. I mean, if he's taking that more than 5 minutes, he's a piece of shit. I mean, he should not take that. He's not. He wasn't put on this earth to take that crap.
What if he was? They always say that everybody has a purpose. What if Ted's purpose is to be a doormat?
That's a tough one.
You know, like those guys who like, you know, you watch the porn videos and the guy who likes it when a woman wears a high heel shoe and steps on his dick with the heel, and you're like, why? Why would you like that? And they don't even have sex after he just smushes his cock. What if Ted's that? What if Ted's something you walk all over like a carpet or a stepped on cock?
Well, you bring out, I mean, he may like it.
He might like it.
He might like it.
He might being put down.
He might enjoy being scolded all the time.
But he did ask for a divorce.
Well, that's he's a piece of shit for taking it this long. Whether it's 10 minutes, 10 hours, 10 years, 20 years.
They probably share a lawyer.
Well, I mean, if they're shopping where you work, yeah, it makes sense.
Listen, we have some high-end things. Anyway, Bobby, piece of shit.
The woman's the piece of shit in this story.
Thank you.
Listen,
Fuck you, Frank.
Listen.
Ted at one point probably had balls.
Yeah. Ted's out there. He was probably like living his dream. And she was like, I'm super supportive of your dream, Ted. Then things started to go well. And Ted couldn't spend as much time with her. And she became resentful. And then she was like, Ted, there's this other guy. He's kind of like a comedian too. He does comedic magicianship. And Ted was like, that's not really a comedian. And she's like, well, it doesn't really matter because I'm fucking him now. And you were like, damn, Ted, that's fucking crazy. So I'm going to go with the woman.
Well, I didn't know the inside story.
Well, I didn't either. And I think that Bobby just shared something even more personal than Chipotle's story. But anyway, I think you got a good point. I think when you see that kind of thing happening, I think some people look at it right away and said from the very beginning, Ted must have been a pushover. Usually not the case. Usually that kind of person is that go-getter, that fun guy, and that woman has just sucked the fucking soul out of him and made it so he can't be himself anymore. Ted was probably the guy who would run around and just every day have a new lady in his place and never would have to say that shit. Or maybe Ted has a weird Tourette where he just answers with, I want a divorce. Maybe that's what happened there. I don't know.
Man.
I'm
maybe
not
like
sure.
Ted was coming home every day, like all excited and be like, this great thing happened. And she'd be like, yeah, but my plant died. And cry about it for 45 fucking minutes. And Ted was like, damn.
Yeah, he comes in. He's like, honey, great news. She goes, oh, so you heard? And he's like, wait, you heard about I got a raise at work. And finally we can afford that, a bigger house. She's like, yeah, that's great. You know my aunt? Did she pass away? Well, no. You know her neighbor? No. Well, her neighbor's cousin got COVID. Okay. I can't talk right now. You're gonna have to take out food. I can't talk to you. She's like, well, I know you wanted to celebrate dinner. How can we celebrate when my neighbor's aunt's cousin has COVID? I want a divorce. Shut up and push the car, Ted.
Yep.
You guys are making a pile of shit into shrimp cocktail. That's all I know.
That's the new chicken shit. What is it?
I mean, he's a piece of shit.
He's not. He's Ted, and he's lovable, and I love him. And I'm going to try to get Ted to be our guest next week. I don't know how I find
Ted should be our boy.
Ted will be on the show.
You be our flunky.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but hashtag Team Ted. That's a thing.
Dude,
I'm doing it. Team Ted is in. That's the real TED Talk. The real TED Talk is saying I want a divorce and then being denied a divorce. I once in my life I did try to break up with a girl and she said no thanks. So that happened to me, but never in a divorce. When the divorce happened, we were both on board. Believe me, there was no Ted in that game. We were both good. We were both pushing the cart. It was fine. Bobby, do you got anything you want to promote? Push, whatever.
Yeah, October 23rd and 24th, the Harrisburg Comedy Zone. I will be featuring for Dave Landau. So if you want to come out to that, let me know. Also, October 17th, if you're in that area, I'll be working with Earl David Reed. If you want to come to that, hit me up on Twitter.
You and I have talked about my love for Earl David Reed, man.
He's in Rochester now, dude. So we should see if we could do something with him.
We definitely should, dude. That guy is a fucking talented dude that more of the world needs to know about. He's fucking so talented. Frank, tell him.
With you, I'll be at Comics of Mohegan Sun on the 25th and the 15th and the 29th.
Because the 15th and 29th is my birthday.
That's right.
Ooh.
It's a birthday show for POS.
It's really not. It's a bringer show, and I happen to host it. But okay. It's my birthday. I'll be 46 years old.
Wow.
I'll be
you don't look a day over 25.
Liar. You're already on the show. Don't worry. I know that I'm more than halfway dead because I'm not going to make it to 90. I think I'll make it maybe close to maybe not, if I even make it 90, I'm not making 92. So this is the final run. And I'm doing well, and I'm happy to bring Bobby aboard. You're welcome.
Thank you very much for bringing me on.
Good show,
I'm looking forward
Bobby.
to doing it with you guys. Great show, guys.
It'll be great because afterwards, when Bobby and I are done with this and we work on the eulogy for Frank, it'll be great if we both die first and Frank has to do the show.
Exactly.
I would be over there. What the fuck do I do now?
Or better, just just somebody shows up. You're like, who's this? Well, Pat had an understudy too.
Yeah.
And it's Seth Rogen because he has the same voice as me. So that's what we got. Seth Rogen's waiting to do this show. It's a POS, piece of Seth Rogen. It's a new show coming out soon. All right, guys. Until next time, don't be a POS.